Thank you for inviting me. It's the voting day, so here we have everyone who's voted with their feet. Leave it out there. It's like the real thing. There's a sugya that I opened up on Shabbos in my shul, and I'd like to close here to understand the sugya, which have some Havana in the sugya. The pasuk says, Hashem said to Moshe, Daber na ba'oznei ha'am, speak to the people, Vayishalu ish me'es rei'ehu v'isha me'es ru'usa klei chesef u'klei zahav. Speak to the people and tell them to Pharaoh, ish me'es rei'ehu, man from their fellow man, v'isha me'es ru'usa, women from their other women, klei chesef u'klei zahav. Yiten Hashem eschein ha'am be'enei Mitzrayim, and Hashem will give Klal Yisrael a chein, that this trick will work. Gamu ish Moshe gadol ma'od be'eretz Mitzrayim be'enei avdei Pharaoh be'enei ha'am. So, this is a tzivui that came all the way from Avram Avinu, the bris ben Absarim, the Yetziat Mitzrayim gadol. We're going to leave Mitzrayim b'rechush gadol. It was repeated in the Shlit'a, that we're going to leave Mitzrayim with prosperity, and here we are approaching the Makas B'chayros, the end of the Makas Mitzrayim, and Hashem says to Moshe, okay, now it's time for the prosperity game, and this is how you're going to make a lot of money. Vayishalu ish me'es rei'ehu v'ish me'es ru'usa klei chesed v'klei zav. You're going to borrow tons of stuff, tons of money, tons of klei kesef, tons of klei zav, and the Torah tells us further, and also smolois, clothing and material and garments. Ad kedei kachu v'yinatzlu es Mitzrayim. They'll empty out Mitzrayim, or they emptied out Mitzrayim. V'yitein Hashem eschein ha'am be'enei Mitzrayim, and it'll work. People will lend you money, hagam, that you were slaves and you're not necessarily people that know how to work with money. You're not people that we've ever lent money to before. It will work. The davar difla, which I want to try to be miyashiv today before we get into the technicalities of it, is where is the ethics of borrowing from the Mitzrayim al minas, with the full intention that we will never pay it back. There was no havamina, I don't think, in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's eyes, Moshe Rabbeinu's eyes, or for that matter in Klal Yisrael's eyes, that this is really a loan. So if it's not a loan, call it a donation, call it a gift. So, Vayishalu ish me'es rei'ehu, it seems like, however we're going to be masber this, it seems that there's something missing, b'yisoid hadvarim, b'mekar hadvarim, b'shorish hadvarim, as to why we would leave Mitzrayim on this kind of gray, if we're being generous, a gray area of ethics. Vayishalu ish me'es rei'ehu. Let's go borrow.
Okay.
No, I don't want to say anything bad. It's sort of laid out at the beginning. I remember years ago I met a fundraiser for a sort of institution. I met him at a hospital. So I met him a couple of years before, so I asked him, how are you doing? You're doing well, because he was complaining that it was very difficult for him to get money. People were not giving him enough money to support his voice. So he said, no, he's doing well. So I said, Baruch Hashem, he's doing well. What changed? He said, I changed my technique. So I used to ask people for a donation. They used to give me $18, $25, $36. Now I ask them for a loan, and they give me $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. So I said, yeah, but you have to pay back those loans. No, they don't expect it back. Okay. It's like an interesting, right? Derek. Yeah. It's a shayla which is kimat eidol tshuva. This is not by kasha. Indirectly, the Rishonim asked the kasha, the Rabban asked the kasha. Sadi Gaon was ma'arif of this, the Abarvanel was ma'arif of this kasha, and many, including the Rashbam, Al Adaf, and the Koros Gedolos, concluded that it can't be that. It just can't be. So they say we're touching it wrong. Vayishalu ish me'es rei'ehu she'ela has two meanings. She'ela can mean borrowing, and she'ela can be a lashon of bakasha. So who said that the she'ela here was a lashon of she'ela, which was unethical, meaning that we're going to borrow it al manas, that we're going to give it back, and we never have any condition of giving, but every intention of giving back, so it's really a borrowing al manas, liknoy. Who said that's the place, the case? V'yishalu, just be mevakesh from them, and you'll have chayd, and they'll give it to you. Go around and do the first type of fundraising, where you're actually asking for things by Yishalu.
But some Rishonim say that the reason why the Mitzrayim ran afterwards was because they borrowed it.
So first of all, about all the Rishonim say that they were running. What was the charat of the charah? They took all our money. They borrowed it. We're not going to get it back if they're running out. If they're really running out, not just for 3 days, we're not getting it back. They were worried about it. That's first of all. Second of all, I mean, you don't have to go so far as the Rishonim.
There's other Rishonim who also say if they gave them things that could be market for them, at the time they wanted to give the things because they were afraid for their lives. The Pharaoh gave them.
So what's Vayishalu?
So
I'm not arguing that they wanted to give them things.
They may have asked for it as a loan, but they gave it to them as a gift.
So why they asked as a loan? I mean, they had a plan to pay it back. Is that what you're saying? In other words, I'm asking you a question.
That I don't know.
If you're asking somebody to borrow something, aren't you supposed to have the kavanah to give it back? Clear. I mean, like somebody said in my shul, was it you? Maybe that's where the minhag came, to borrow without paying back.
Another thing, Rabbi, was when they said, I wanted to give you some of yours. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any, but it's in your drawer right down there because during the plague of darkness, they walked around and found all this stuff. So that's another issue.
You know, what the pasuk that I just read to you was the pasuk of Hakadosh Baruch Hu's tzivui to Moshe to be mitzaveh Klal Yisrael to do this. Then we have the parsha of the Korban Pesach, and then they did it. The Torah reports that they did it. Uvnei Yisrael, this is a Parakut Beis. That was Parakut Aleph, Pasuk Beis. This was Parakut Beis, Pasuk Lamed Hey. Uvnei Yisrael asu kidvar Moshe. The Bnei Yisrael did do like Moshe said. Vayishalu b'Mitzrayim klei kesef u'klei zav u'smalois. They were even moisef on the mitzvah. Not only did they take klei kesef and klei zav, they took smalot. V'Hashem nosan eschein ha'am, just like Moshe Rabbeinu said they would. And Hashem nosan eschein ha'am b'nei Mitzrayim v'yash'ilum. How do you want to touch that? No matter what the Rishonim say, no matter what the Rishonim say, that the she'ela in the first pasuk, it means bakasha, doesn't mean halvar, doesn't mean she'ela of borrowing. There's simply no Hebrew way to touch vayashilum, and they what? They were mevakesh something back, vayashilum, they left it to them. By the way, I noticed that Rav Hirsch in the first pasuk is ma'irich on how it means bakasha, on the second pasuk he's silent.
So what was the idea of taking, we know gold and silver, but why clothing?
Okay, good question. Maybe we'll get to that, but it's not my subject. It's a very good question. But I think we'll answer it.
There's also cases brought down that people do a ramot. If someone owes you money and they're not going to pay you back, there's a ramot.
Okay, hold the thought. But let's get the kasha clear. Good thought. I'm saying from the pasuk gufa, it's muchav Hashem nosan eschein ha'am b'nei Mitzrayim vayash'ilum vayinatzlu es Mitzrayim. Vayinatzlu es Mitzrayim. What does vayinatzlu mean? What does vayinatzlu mean?
Clean them out.
Empty them out. Right. Not Ushe'elam says the Targum v'roikidu yas Mitzrayim. Look at that. They've obviously emptied Mitzrayim out. Mitzrayim was empty. Mitzrayim was bankrupt. Mitzrayim, the richest nation in the world, was bankrupt. Why? Because the Jews took everything. Clay Kassim, Clay Zav, the Jews took everything. Vayinatzlu Mitzrayim,
We use one that sells differently now.
So that's why I'm reading to you the Targum. It doesn't mean like it means today that they took advantage of Mitzrayim. Group of Talmidei Chachamim. Vayinatzlu doesn't mean the modern Hebrew of how do I know? Because the Targum says V'hoyriku v'roikidu yas Mitzrayim.
Isn't being a kettle.
V'roikinu yas Mitzrayim.
sorry, Rob, isn't it also connected with the lotion of saving? They like rescued the name of Mitzrayim. So I've heard an interpretation.
It's not the Targum, it's not Rashi. That's the modern Hebrew, sort of like like the Hatzalah, but it's not the shot that they called Hatzalah here, even though somebody suggested at the beginning that we need Hatzalah here. But this is not like Hatzalah. The Hatzalah was we took every single penny and the smell. Don't think you're going to have clothes in your closet. Or you're going to have material in your by Natzos we tried empty. Empty. The Chazal, if you look at the Mevarshim even of the Haggadah, like they were so machmir this mitzvah of clay kesef and clay zav, machmir just pots and pans. No, they took the coins, they took every single thing that they could find, gold and silver, and they also took copper. They also took the choshus. To prove it, before it's in the Medrash, but I can prove it to you in the Mikra Gufa. They took everything, every valuable metal, every valuable piece of clothing. Let them betray you. Just sitting there empty. This is what the Torah reports. You believe? You believe? Yeah. By Natzlos Mitzrayim, or Rikus Mitzrayim. Yeah. So the Bizas Hayab, very good question. The Bizas Hayab, so the Medrash asked the Kasha by Natzlos Mitzrayim, what was the Bizas Hayab? They didn't get the army. In other words, they didn't get the army. That was the security was too high. That was a different thing. That was Paro's private place. You know, it's very interesting that everybody in Klal Yisrael was involved with this. Or everybody in Klal Yisrael was involved with this because the Gemara says that Kol Ha'am Kulai was Osek b'Bizas Mitzrayim, and Moshe was Osek in what? Atzmus Yosef. Mashma that outside of Moshe, everybody was getting money. Purim. It was murdered. What was going on there? Lemaisa, the Gemara says in Sanhedrin like this. So let's learn this again. This is the second raya that pshat can't be the right pshat, at least in the second pasuk. How to be miyashiv the Rishonim, I'll leave for you. But the Gemara says in Sanhedrin, well-known Gemara, but Kedai to learn it inside. Amishayana Diyoima. Sanhedrin Tzadik Aleph Amid Aleph talks about Tana Rabbanim Be'esrim V'arba B'Nisan. This is a quote from Megillus Tainis, that there was a Yom Tov on the 24th day of Nisan and another one on the 25th day of Sivan. We're going to learn Isnatlu Dimnosoi Meyehuda Miyerushalayim. We were able to lift the claims of Yerushalayim and Eretz Yehuda. Kishabo, we're just going to learn this about the Gemara that we're looking at, but it's a context to understand the whole thing. Kishabo B'nei Afrikai Ladur Ev Yisrael. There came a time that the B'nei Afrikai came to be Dali Yisrael Lifnei Alexandrus Mukta. They came to Alexandrus Mukta, usually translated as Alexander the Macedonian, Mukta. Amrulo. And they came, so it means to say that at the time of Alexander the Great, in his conquest and conquering of the world, he set up a UN, like a certain court, and anybody has the, what's the pshat in this UN? Anybody has any titles on the Jews, here's the place. We have a place to come. Like a stage, we have a place to come. Alexander the Great. Abrulo, this is like, it's not even the UN. I'm not saying good. It's like the protocols of the elders of Zion. It was where that is the protocols of the elders of Zion was the most anti-Semitic document of history, probably, where everybody is claiming was able to come and bring their claims against Klal Yisrael. Unbelievable what we lived through. So came the B'nai Afrikai, Ma Yesh Lanu, with the B'nai Afrikai, like the only people who are not fighting against, right? The B'nai Afrikai. They came, London of Yisrael, Lifnei Alexander's Mukta, Amrulai, and they said, Eretz Kinaan, Shalanu Hi, that Eretz Yisrael belongs to us. Dechsiv Eretz Kinaan L'Gvuloseha. This is what Noach said to the B'nai Kan, Eretz Kinaan L'Gvuloseha, Parshas Noach, Uknan Avud Dehanu, and Canaan is our father. just give you a little historical background, just so we understand. Alexander the Great was at the beginning of the time of the Bayesheni, right? Alexander the Great met with Shimon HaTzadik.
Yeah.
Shimon HaTzadik was B'Shiorei Knesset HaGedolah. So he was at the time, at the beginning of the time of the Bayesheni, and he met, according to our Chazal, he met with Alexander the Great, the famous story of the two of them meeting. So this was the time of the beginning of the second Bayis. Africa at that time was not Africa as we know it today. Africa at that time, you could wiki this when you get home, Africa at that time was what we call today Tunisia. That was called B'nai Africae. After that, it spread out because of different wars and different conquests. Everything that in Africa, North Africa, became B'nai Africae. We're talking about Tunisia. Tunisia, the B'nai Africae, got there according to our history and probably the history of the world. That we know that there was the Abim that were in Eretz Yisrael, the Flali Abim, right? As Achivi, that's Girgashi. So that the Girgashi. The Girgashi went to Tunisia when they were thrown out of Canaan, and they became the B'nai Africae. So we're talking about the Tunisians over here. That's what we're talking about. This is a fact historically. Just for fun, I'll tell you that that those that have done the excavations of the very, very ancient sites of Tunisia actually uncovered a floor where it said Girgashi.
Wow.
Doesn't mean anything, but it's nachmad, no? It's actually called Girgashi. So this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about necessarily Kenya, Nigeria, and everybody's coming and running. We're talking about Dafka, those that came from Eretz Yisrael, came to North Africa, came to Tunisia, and Alexander Mukden, of course, was taking over that entire area. So they said, Eretz Canaan is us. What's important here is that the Klal Yisrael had just come from a golus of 70 years. The Bayis Rishon was Nephra. There was a Purim story. There was Ezra. There was Nehemiah. Started the Knesset Hagdolah, the Anshei Knesset Hagdolah, which was bookended by Shimon HaTzadik B'Shiorei Knesset Hagdolah. Eretz Yisrael, which the Goyim thought after the former Bayis Rishon was Judenrein, all of a sudden the Jews are back. Not only are they back, but they built the Beis HaMikdash. Not only did they build the Beis HaMikdash, but they have farms and property, and it's working, and agriculture, and an economy, and that was a time. You do it. This was a time. What happens when Klal Yisrael is Matzliach? Hey, whose money is that? Whose land is that? Here's a land that never grew a tomato. All of a sudden, because of the bracha of Hashem, it's growing green, and the desert has turned green, and everything is beautiful. This was what was going on at the time of the Bayesheni. Kach Amru Chazal. Take a look at the end of Eicha Rabbah. This is exactly what happened. It was at the beginning of the Bayesheni. All of the Shechina came back into Eretz Yisrael. Almost all of the Shechina came back to Eretz Yisrael, and everything started to turn green, and the money started to flow, and people were sort of were prosperous, and health came back, and it was a wonderful. Comes the Goyim and they say it's Shalanu. Before this, it was a wasteland. Who needs it? But now that you're here and you've done this, we want it. Okay, we understand history. This was all at the beginning of the time of the Bayesheni. Very important to understand the history. Amr lahu Gavia ben Pasisa. So there was a yid by the name of Gavia ben Pasisa. Zachar Oisai L'Toy. He was a spokesman for the Jewish people. He was, according to Chazal, a hunchback. Chazal call him the Gabona. He was a hunchback. Our story today is about the straightening out of this hunchback. This Gavia ben Pasisa, who was a great speaker, albeit a hunchback, came to the Chachamim, and he said, we have Eisar Yaakov, because here we have the Alexander the Great based in. We have this new stage for complaints, and the Canaanim are coming, and they want their land back, and Alexander Mukden, if he wants to give them their land back, we're going to have Tsaris, Eisar Yaakov. This is not the first time or the second time or the third time this happened. We need to answer them. We need to give them a good answer. Tnuli Rishus, give me Rishus, but I will go Me'elach va'aduni Mohem. I will be down with them. Lifnei Alexander's Mukden. I will go into the Supreme Court of Alexander's Mukden, and I will argue. Imidat Schuli, and here's my strategy. If they win this argument, possibility. If they win this argument, what's going to be? Amru Hedjot Shabaru Nitzachta. So they want some kind of a Hedjot. Why was he a Hedjot? Who said he wasn't a Talmud Chacham? Why is he calling himself a Hedjot? Because it wasn't part of the Sanhedrin. What he means to say, he was not an official representative of the Sanhedrin. He was a Hedjot. That's what a Hedjot means. A Hedjot doesn't mean that he was a jerk. He was stupid. He wasn't. He was anything but. He was a brilliant man, obviously. But he was a Hedjot in the sense that he wasn't an official representative of the Jewish people, so you won against him. So if they win, Amru Hedjot Shabaru Nitzachta V'imani Anatzayach. But if I win this argument, I mean, the Amru, they will say, Torah's Moshe Nitzachta. There's a limud here, by the way. It means to say that not everybody should go and argue the cause of the Jewish people. Not everybody, because it's not so poshut that anybody who thinks that they've got something to say should go and say it. Because we find throughout history over and over again the people that, smart Alex that thought that they were smart in representing the Jewish people have said things which were terrible for the Jewish people. We can talk about it in a different shir, but over and over and over again throughout history. So he went to the Chachamim and he said, look, I have a plan that if I'm not Matzliach, at least we won't be Mafsid. That's my plan. At least it won't be a Hesed. Okay? Nostu le Rishus. Ibke, he was Mavakish Rishus. You have to ask Rishus for such a thing. Before you represent the Jewish people, you have to ask Rishus. Nostu le Rishus. V'halach v'don ibahem, and he was done. Ober lahem, and this was how his argument went. Beheichen atem be'vi'en raya. How do you know, Tunisians, that you were here in Eretz Yisrael? How do you know that this was your father's land, and how do you know it was given to Canaan? Ober loi, ha-ha. From your Torah, Mina Torah. We know it from the Torah. Amar Lahem. So he said to them, okay, you want to work on that level? Happy. So I'll also bring you a raya from the Torah. Shenebar, this was clever. You see how clever he was? Shenebar v'yomer arur klan even avodim yelachim. Lechov. Lechov. They're supposed to be avodim, you guys, Tunisians. You're supposed to be avodim. Avodim to who? Avodim to who?
Jews.
No, but le'echov.
Oh, to Hashem.
That's right. To B'nai Shem and Yefes. To Shem and Yefes. You're avodim b'mtzias. Right, to your brothers. Right?
Right. He said it to Ham.
All right, to their brothers. I think that's right. In other words, they're supposed to be avodim to Etzem. We're not talking about avodim to the Jews. It's interesting that you know that the Bnei Canaan, if you trace it historically, so they were they actually traveled to the Medina Sayam, to the Bnei Yefes. If you watch the migration of Chubs of Canaan, which I do carefully, they actually, in history, they founded, for instance, the city of Marseille. With respect. In other words, France, Germany, Italy, Bnei Yefes. So you're supposed to be avodim. Hello. You want to go according to the Torah, you're supposed to be avodim. Evet shekana lechasim. What's the din according to the Torah before the Chumash? Evet shekana lechasim. Evet lebi, lechasim lebi. It's not yours anyway. You have nothing. You're an evet if you're going with the Torah. Not only that, have you been avodim the whole time? No. There's plenty of times of freedom for the Bnei Canaan. So it means to say that, you owe us money. If anything, you owe us money. Everything that you were kind of yourselves, you owe us money. So this is the Hachzer Lahem Tshuva, give them a Tshuva. Amr Lahem Alexandrus Malka, he changes his name here. Alexander the Melech says, Hachaziru Lai Teshuva. Give him a Tshuva, he says to the Bnei Afrikai. Give him a Tshuva. By the way, I didn't see it inside. That's the Maral says in this Gemara that why does it say such a lashon of Hachziru like Tshuva? Why does it say lashon of Teilah Tshuva? There's only one lashon, says the Maral, of Lahachzir b'Tshuva. Yeah. There's only one time that you find the Indian of Chazara b'Tshuva, and that's by doing Tshuva. That's what it means. Hachziru like Tshuva. Just while we're here, I think that's what the Maral says. Hachziru like Tshuva, like Taka. They said, give us 3 days. The Maharal's in 3 days. You can do tshuva because you have 3 parts to tshuva, right? You have Charot Allah, Varkam Allah, and Vito. It takes time. Nosalev Zvad Bodku. They did a bedika, V'loy Matzu tshuva. Okay. However you want to touch it. Miyad Baruchu, they ran away. V'nichu say the same. Kishem Zroyes, V'charbeim, Kishem Netuais. They left everything. The fields were planted. They got free chita, and free sevaira, and everything was beautiful. Free grapes, anavim. Kishem Netuais. V'aisha shana shvius haisa tzibut. It was shvius, and we didn't have our own so much. This was a ness of shmita. Wow. Okay. So what do we say about Pasis Gavia ben Pasisa? Dinner. Bravo. Shu Pamachas, that's the Gemara, another story. Bo b'nei Mitzrayim, leave your name.
This is the one.
Bo b'nei Mitzrayim, yeah.
If still comes from the Navi that says you'll come back to the land and everything, houses that you didn't build, it's talking about this period or this land?
No. It's for sure the Psukim of the Navi, which is talking about after the Bayis Shlishi, or during the Bayis Shlishi. For sure. Comes the b'nei Mitzrayim. Right?
Yeah.
This is the state, Alexander the Great.
Give us the money back.
Right. Lo duni bab Yisrael lifnei Alexander's bukton Amrulai Harehu Haber our pasuk v'Hashem nasan eschein ha'am b'nei Mitzrayim v'yash ilum quotes the second pasuk that Hashem gave. Okay, in other words, v'yash ilum. Why does it quote the second pasuk? Because the Goyim are saying, the Mitzrayim are saying, don't tell me a Rashbam, don't tell me a Ramsadi Goyin or a Hirsch. Vayashilum, you can't move from this pasuk. Vayashilum, we lent it to you. We're shoyalim, you're shoyalim. We're lending it to you. Snu lanu kesef vizav. You see, it wasn't just clay kesef. Snu lanu kesef vizav shenatalta bimenu. So you see clearly from this pasuk that Vayashilu means to borrow. It doesn't mean to be Mabakesh. Clearly from this Gemara, clear. Not the Chachamim could have answered right here. Hey, you gave it to us. Could have answered, you gave it to us. We were Mabakesh, you gave it to us. That's not what they answered. Not the Chachamim, not the Mitzrayim. Everybody knew the Pshat in this pasuk. Omar Gevia ben Pasisa. Comes Gevia ben Pasisa and he says to the Chachamim, Nachabot, Snuli Rishus ve'elach v'adu nibayim l'fnei Alexandrus im yinatzchuni Amrulav hedyer shebaru nitzachtem. Same logic. V'imani alatzeach haisam Amrulav teres Moshe Rabbeinu nitzachtem nasnu le'rishus v'holach v'dan ibahem. Omar lahem, and he used the same tack. Amr lahem behechan atem bevi'in raya Amr loy minat Torah. The raya is minat Torah. Amr lahem afani loy avi lachem raya elo minat Torah. So okay, we're talking learning, we're talking Torah. This I have what to talk about. So this is the international law based on the Torah. Fascinating. Based on the Torah. It means that it's so interesting that years ago, about so many years ago, at our time when the Arabs were claiming that Yerushalayim belongs to them, the time of Arafat. So they said, what's your raya? It's clear. It's a Gemara. It's a Teshefta. It's a Pasuk. It's you're bringing our. That's what they came with. Shedemar says, how do you know it? Minat Torah u'moishav b'nei Yisrael. Hello. Asher yoshvu b'Mitzrayim shloishim shana v'arba me'oy shana. 430 years. Tu lanu schar avoda shel shishim ribuy sheshishavta b'Mitzrayim shloishim shana v'arba me'oy shana. You owe us 430 years of compensations, reparations. Now, the truth is that he says, and multiplied shishim ribuy. Obviously, talking about hundreds of millions of dollars and people, and it wasn't really true his title because we weren't really avodah for 430 years. How many years were we avodah? 10 years, and we weren't all shishim ribuy.
That's a little reading. He's going with the little.
Oh, so that's the pshat. The pshat is, you want to talk Torah? We'll talk Torah. I'm not bringing you Chazal. I'm not bringing you Ramsadi guy. I'm never going to the Chumash. So you want to go to the Chumash? You owe us more money. The Chumash. Like you give more money.
Also, Shishim Ribley was only after Choshech. That was only a fifth.
Right. Abushin.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but let's take it. Let me just agree for now. Amrlan Alexander's Muktan Hachziru Lai Shuva. Okay, tshuva. Avrulai tnu lanu zman shloisha yavim nasa lev zman batku v'loi matzo tshuva. Miyad hidichus adoseim kishay zrois karbeya kishay netuais ubaruchu vois and shana shviyas oisa. And then the Gemara tells a third story, a very similar story about the Bnei Yishmael, our story, the Bnei Yishmael that are coming and saying the same thing, except they're coming with the more. Not saying give us the land, it belongs to ours. They're not saying give us the money, it belongs to us. They're saying let's split it. Two-stage solution, right? This is what we're talking about here, because of Bnei Yishmael. After all, Avraham Avinu had a Yitzchak and he had a Yishmael, so let's just divide down the middle and everybody's happy. Okay, so Gavia, but Sisa gave a tshuva for that also, but that's not the. If you're learning the Torah, Vayiten Avraham es kol asher loy leYitzchak u'levnei hapilagshim asher la'Avraham nasan Avraham matanos. Matanos. How did he give him matanos if he gave kol asher loy to Yitzchak? So the answer is Nazakenu Valitoisus gave him the Kedushas Hashem. Different terutzim, things that were not part of the Kinyan of Eretz Yisrael, but he certainly didn't give up the land of Eretz Yisrael. Sarah said, "Lo yirash ben ha'ava hazoyisi b'ni im Yitzchak." It's not going to happen. That's what Sarah said, and Avraham Avinu heard HaKadosh Baruch Hu say that. Listen, kol asher torah v'lecha Sarah shma b'koy lo. So you have no taina. So this is the story of Gavia ben Basisa. So makes it a little bit easier.
We're still using the same thing. 1,000 years later, they're using the same.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, my point. So at least we can understand that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe to borrow from the Mitzrayim, they were really taking back what was owed to them. Makes it a little bit better. Make it even better, the Medrash Tanchuma says that there was another Sfar, not this Gemara, there was another Sfar. Look who brought all this money into Mitzrayim anyway. Okay, from Yosef. Yosef was Baroking the whole world to bring money into Mitzrayim. This is not your money, so everything is just evening out over here with this Vayashilu. I just want to point out La Halacha for a minute. That La Halacha, so the din is like this. The din is the well-quoted Rosh in Shulchan Aruch, well-quoted Rosh, Chuvas HaRosh. Rosh is a Klal Kuf Yud, Siman Gimel, Lashon HaRosh, Rashoi, Hapoyol, La'akev, Hachefet, Shehigia Liyadeh. In the middle of a long Shuvah, if I'm a Poyol, if I'm working, and then you decide, I worked for you, we made up a certain schar, this is what you're supposed to pay me, and then you decide, sorry, I'm not paying you. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? You're not paying me, I could take you to Hotza'ah L'Poel, I could do it, but in the meantime, I have your car. I have the company car. Yeah. I have your shovel, I have your credit card. Yeah. So what's the halacha? You owe me clearly. We're not talking about now Din Torah. The Din Torah is like you have to have two titles. There's two studim to a Din Torah. And he says like this, he says like that. There's not Din Torah. It's a clear thing. You owe me money. You're even admitting to me that you're owing me money. So being that you're admitting that you're owing me money, now it's just a job of the base to not to adjudicate between the two sides, but to be motzi from one side and give it to the other side. You don't have to be motzi. I already have the car. I'm fine. I'm good. You have the problem because I have the chazan, right? Talk for car. So here we have a case, says the Rosh, that I'm holding by the building materials. I'm holding the things in my hand. I'm holding your car. I have the keys to your car in my hand. So the halacha is Rashoy Hapoyel La'akiv Hachefet Shehigia Liyadai. I'm allowed to keep that as tashlum. It's fine. That's the din. So if we understand that, we can start to understand that basically the Klal Yisrael worked unfairly, although there was no, I don't know, maybe you know, maybe I don't think there was a clear upmach of they're going to pay even at the beginning of exactly what they're going to pay and how much. Maybe it seems to be mashma for the psukim that they took them as employees first and then they were marba the avoda. But for Klal Yisrael, it was a question of this is our stuff. This is our stuff. Now let me just show you the halacha for a minute. The Trumas Hadeshed brings, this is all not my case, on the tour. The Trumas Hadeshed, the tour of the base. The Trumas Hadeshed brings the Rosh, Trumas HaRosh, and he brings, but there's a Takonos Rabbeinu Tab. The Takonos Rabbeinu Tab is that we don't do this. We hold that Hatfasa is can uproot the whole judiciary system of Klal Yisrael if everybody starts keeping what they think is theirs, where leis din v'leis dayan, it's going to be a hefker welt. So Rabbeinu Tam was misaking a takana not just for his community, but for the whole Klal Yisrael, whoever's listening to Rabbeinu Tam. He was misaking that we don't do this, you should be mostly take it to Beis Din. He says that it is better, sof kol sof, because although you should take it to Beis Din, but Beis Din is not going to disadvantage you because you were a nice guy and gave it back. They're going to consider it as if you still have a chazaka. So in terms of the chazaka, Rabbeinu Tam says he didn't lose anything, but in terms of honoring the system and letting there be a system of Beis Din, letting there be a system of peace, asisa yasher v'atoy. So let's create a situation where you're giving it back, and let's argue about it properly, and we'll consider the chazaka with you. So says Rabbeinu Tam. So according to Rabbeinu Tam, you're supposed to give it back. Comes the Trumas Hadeshen. This is in Shin Hey, the Trumas Hadeshen in Shin Hey, and he brings the Rabbeinu Tam, he brings the Rosh, and he brings the Rabbeinu Tam, and this is where it all ends up in the Ramah, quoting this Trumas Hadeshen. The Ramah is an Ayin Beis in Choshev Mishpat, says the Trumas Hadeshen. There's another but here, but that the takana of Rabbeinu Tam was Hani Mili if the other party is a Tzayis Dinah. If he's a Tzayis Dinah, he's going to go to Beis Din, and we're going to deal like a bench. So we'll go to Beis Din, we'll deal like a bench. So if the Rabbeinu Tam's takana. What if the other person is an Eino Tzayis Dinah, he's not listening to Beis Din, or he's a goy, he's not interested in our Beis Din or in halacha, or he's a gavra, a lima, says the Trumas Hadeshen, he's somebody that's going to take the money and run or beat me up or something like that. Right? We're dealing with the mafia over here. So in such a case where he's an Eino Tzayis Dinah, these are all hechatips of Eino Tzayis Dinah, so then the halach is that you should be typhus and just keep it for yourself. However, here's the last thing that the Ramah says, Hani Mili Kishabali Yodai Beheter. Kishabali Yodai Beiser, Leislon Baz, Lashon of the Ramah. That means to say that it doesn't mean that if I think that you owe me money, even if I'm a poel, and you were my boss, it doesn't mean that I'm allowed to go in the middle of the night to you with a gun and hold you up and say, give me my money. My money or your life. It's not. Doesn't work. Because Zayl is so close, it's an issue. And but when it's check Zayl, I'm taking my own thing, but so close, it's in your hands. If you want to be motzi a chayfetz or money or something from the out of somebody else, you have to go to a basement. There's no such thing as grabbing it, right? It's a kol dalam govar. So if it comes out you make zayla, so then it doesn't work. So what happens over here? What happens over here? I think the lumdus might be that Klal Yisrael had to borrow the money. So if I'm borrowing the money, so now you have a das machna and a das koine. Once you have a das machna and a das koine, it was bali yadi bereshus beheter. Once it's bali yadi beheter, now I decide I want to keep it because it's my right to keep it. So it could be that in the lumdus of it, you need vayash ilum, you need the chain, and once you need the chain, you need the hashola. When you have a shoyl and a person who's lending it, so now everything is kosher v'yasher. Now I'm running away from Mitzrayim, and the Mitzrayim running back to Mitzrayim, I don't have to pay you back. So you have like a hechatimsa, you can build a hechatimsa where it was a gil liyadav beheter, and since it was a gil liyadav beheter, so they're allowed to keep it.
Very good.
Okay, it's good and it's not good. First of all, it's interesting. Moshe Rabbeinu was Isaac with Bizas Hayav. I think in the Klei I think he says, what's the pshat? Because Baruch Hu said a mitzvah to be Osik, he says, Moshe Rabbeinu was Osik in Asmus Yosef. So why did he do the mitzvah? He told everybody else to do the mitzvah, and he wasn't grabbing money from the Mitzrayim. So the Klei says what?
Was Shevet Levi Bichlal?
Oh, let's look at Shevet Levi. But first Moshe Rabbeinu himself. So Klei says very beautifully, so Moshe Rabbeinu, the Bizas Mitzrayim was the Asmus Yosef. Okay. A beautiful to have the mitzvah. I can chop Atzmus Yosef here, and I can do the mitzvah. Okay.
All the
The were what?
Was he Isaac with all the taught yourself, or was all the from all the
But we know, we know. Like Shevet Levi, as you say, didn't work as unbelievable. So nothing was owed to them. If nothing was owed to them, and it says before in Chazal, unless I'm not medayik correctly, that Kol Yisrael Osku B'Bizas Mitzrayim. Moshe Rabbeinu Osek B'Atzmus Yosef. Kol Yisrael, Kolol Shevet Levi. So Shevet Levi, there was no Choshev Mishpat here in the Shevet Levi. So first of all, the Taina is shvach. So maybe they didn't have the Mitzrayim Shel Yameinu, or at the time of Alexander the Great, didn't chop that the Shevet Levi didn't work, just like most Jews don't chop it, so the Mitzrayim didn't chop either. So okay, but I'll leave it to Emes. I'll leave it to Emes. I mean, what's the heter? Is the heter only that it's owed to us?
How do you know that there wasn't gold and silver in the Kever Yosef?
And that
took,
was Bizas Mitzrayim.
Yeah, he took it out when he went
Why
there.
would there be gold and silver? Because
That's how they buried Egyptians.
Okay. I like the Muslims answer better. Sure, I was looking for gold and silver.
That's how they
Okay. Also good tarts.
They needed this so
It's still a funny thing, though, that he told everyone to do this mitzvah and he's doing a different mitzvah.
He knew that would be Eshelav Yisrael Acherim, this no.
Okay. You have to give it another share. It might be bad. It's another alumnus you need over here of Moshe Rabbeinu's heter. But I'll call upon him, whatever his heter is, I'm sure it's okay. Like, whatever Moshe Rabbeinu did, all the Klai Yisrael, including Shevet Levi, was taking the Bizas Mitzrayim.
He was brought up in Beis Paro, which would have been his name, you know?
Yeah.
But Moshe Rabbeinu got his
Different Paro.
They really didn't keep it on the
Say so. These things, all the base power went into the pyramids. Didn't go That's what I'm saying.
Moshe Rabbeinu got his wealth after he carved the second Luchos. So
Right, he didn't get any gold and silver. You hear Eliezer? Riot.
If it was a new paroi, then maybe the new paroi started off with perach as well, or the new paroi was straight away was the avodah kosher. Maybe they never had any wages from the new paroi. So
yeah, let me say something which is maybe drush, maybe radical, maybe pshat. Maybe pshat. You know, drush and radicals not a stereotype pshat. Take it or leave it. I'm just talking about my own svar, but I think Ish Bezebash, a svar. First of all, the whole vice is a funny vice. They said they're going out for 3 days. Okay, like how much money do you need? Like to go out for 3 days? You take a tuna fish sandwich, take a barbecue, like load up the car. But I mean, like I need a car. By Natzos Mitzrayim, I mean, isn't it abundant? Like you have to take out everything from Mitzrayim. It's like whole story is a funny story. I think this is what happened. This is. I have a feeling that this is the Emes insight into this whole story, and it changes everything if you'll allow me. First of all, we have to understand Mitzrayim. Get every children's book and like the movie they see about Mitzrayim and Paro. We're not talking about here the Prince of Egypt. We're talking about the superpower of the world. Mitzrayim was and was and was and was for generations, all the way up to the time of Yechezkel that we know, where the Paro of that time, the time of Yechezkel, Chorban, by his Rishon, Li Yoiri V'asisi. So they were when we're talking about the Egyptians, understand that we're talking about the seat of culture. Understand that we're talking about everything that was civilized, what they consider to be civilized, everything that was correct in this world, everything that had to do with economy, had to do with Egypt, and Paro was the head of it, ad kedei kach, that they considered themselves Eloi Husbib, Chamocha, Ba'elim, Hashem. Talking about the Mitzrayim and Paro. This was huge. Comes a Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay, Moshe Rabbeinu, but comes a Moshe Rabbeinu, walks into a Paro which he never knew, and he says, here's what's got to happen here. You need to empty out your economy to us. Can you imagine somebody going to President like Obama? Here's what we want from you. We are the chosen people. You are, B'neicha.
That's so
smart. So here's what we need. First of all, there's a few million Jews here, out of here. There's no more. Your whole economy is apart. Second of all, you have money, give it to us. You have gold, give it to us. You have clothes, us. Everything else, where are you going with it? We're taking it. We're out of here. We're going to Israel. Go to Israel. We're going to take it to the state of Israel. Okay? For 3 days.
It would have. I mean, let's just. I mean, I'm not. Para Russia. But I mean, let's just crawl into his mind for 1 minute. Let's establish 1 minute. I don't want to be there more than a minute. But let's crawl into his mind for a minute. Like, somebody like Paro, the superpower of the world, and the biggest country in the world. This Paro, by the way, was like an import from Asia. If you look at it, Rob says these were like serious world leaders in a world economy and millions of people in Mitzrayim, much more than there were Jews. There are millions of Jews, but there are tens of millions. We want everything. Who said so? Hashem. He's asking a legitimate question. Me Hashem. What? Me Hashem? Ma Hashem? What Hashem? What the, like the whole country, the whole Egyptian culture, the whole history of Egypt should go down the drain because you're coming and telling me, take me home. Okay, so he turns the thing into a snake. Yeah, fine, but I'm not convinced. I mean, I would not be convinced. Would you be? I mean, if you, that's my minute in Paro's mind. Yeah. Understand what you're asking me here. I understand what you're talking about. Okay, even if we ease up on the avoda, which you did. Eased up after a couple of makos on the avodas parah of Klal Yisrael. But you're going to take everything? And what's the taina? Why should we give you everything? Because Hashem said so? No. Because the purpose of this world, Moshe Rabbeinu says, is B'nai Yisrael. B'ni b'chori Yisrael. But the b'chor here, that's the Yetziat Mitzrayim. The b'chor in this world is not chom, and it's not yofes, it's shame. And it's not Kol Hashem, it's not Yishmael, it's Abraham. And it's not Kol Abraham, it's Yitzchak, and it's Yaakov, and it's us. B'ni b'chari Yisrael is going on us. We are the Ava Nibchar, all of this money belongs to us. Why? Not because we want money. Because the purpose of this world is to make a Malchus LaHashem. That is the purpose of the creation of Klal Yisrael, to make Malchus LaHashem, to make this world Hashem's world, the Li Kol Ha'aretz. You're not doing it with your pyramids. You're not doing it with your gold and silver. Give us the money and we'll do with it. You know what the biggest kasha is that I didn't even ask? Forget about the fact that this money was obtained unethically, so to speak, for the meantime. What did they do with the money at the end? They gave it to the Mishkan. Yeah. That Moshe Rabbeinu made a takbit. He made an appeal, and everybody's bringing him gold and silver, generous people. Yafes, so what money you bring him? The money that I borrowed from the Egyptians. So the whole Mishkan, the Mizbeach, everything was built. The Aron Kodesh was built with the money that we borrowed from the Egyptians. And here's where the pshat begins. Klal Yisrael, Moshe Rabbeinu's taina to Paro was, I'm telling you, we are the Ava Nibchar. This is what the money is for. The money is to build a Mishkan. Yeah. Now what it's for, the reason why HaKadosh Baruch Hu created this Gashmias in the world to begin with, all the Gashmias that you have, Ke'eretz, Ke'gan Hashem, Ke'eretz Mitzrayim, the reason why he did all that is so that we can make a Dira B'Tachtonim. So the Dira B'Tachtonim, you're not making a Dira B'Tachtonim. Who's going to make the Dira B'Tachtonim? My brothers and sisters are going to make the Dira B'Tachtonim. We're going to take it, give us the money. Paro said, no. Okay. Not because of the pressure of the Makos. But the Makos were Vayechazik Hashem es like Paro. The pressure of the Makos didn't faze him. But apparently, at some point, he began to be Maharer, after Choshech, after Barad rather, he began to be Maharer and say, Hashem, is Emes va'ani va'ami Rishoyim. Okay, what does that mean? What do I show you? Because I'm trying to protect my economy? Maybe that's where the money is supposed to go. So you know what happened? Listen to this. The Mitzrayim said to Klal Yisrael, how are you going to build a Mizbeach? How are you going to build an Aron Shel Zav? How are you going to go to Eretz Yisrael empty-handed? How are you going to build the Beis HaMikdash over there? How are you going to build the Mishkan Shiloh? How are you going to do this? We'll lend you the money. Because if we have the money, and you are the Ava Nibchar, as HaKadosh Baruch Hu has demonstrated here in Mitzrayim, it's clear, we're willing, the Chain Ha'av was made, Mitzrayim, they understood their Chain. You understand? They understood their Chain. This is not Stava people. These are people that are going to take our money, like you give your money to Legg Mason, Wells Fargo, American Express. Okay, they'll make a little more money out of it, hopefully. Maybe they'll make less money out of it. We're going to give you your money. You're going to turn it into Ruchnius, you're going to turn it into Shechina. You're going to bring Hashras Shechina with our money. Take the money. What an investment that is. Vayinatzlu Mitzrayim ad kedei kach was the Chaylam. V'gam ha'ish Moshe gadol ba'oid b'nei Mitzrayim. Everybody said, we're going with them. We're investing with them. That's where we're going to do. That's where we're going to give our money. So you know what happens? They give them the money. It was a she'ela, not with no expectation, la'niyas daiti, of getting their gold and silver back. But Klal Yisrael, but Ibachar Yisrael, you bring the Shechina here. you get us back to Gan Eden. Bring us Meshiach. Let there be a situation where us in Ha'ilonais, Mustama Moshe Rabbeinu spoke like this, Lahotzi Glu skies. If you support the Jewish people, there's going to be Mashiach. Lo Yisa Goy El Goy Choreb. There won't be a land bridge between the Babylonians and the Egyptians with war and Chereb, Baratzecha. No, there's going to be a time of Mashiach. So we'll give you the money, but you need to produce. You need to deliver. What happened by the Chorban Bayis Rishon? We didn't deliver. After the Chorban Bayis Rishon, we came back to Eretz Yisrael. The Egyptians came back to Klal Yisrael for Alexander Bukta. They said, they didn't deliver. There's no goods. Where's the Shechina? Where's the Meshiach? Where's the Gan Eden? You know what the Ramchal says? That if Adam Arisha would have never been Chayte, we'd still be in Gan Eden. What we're trying to get back to, the Zman of Mashiach, is the original Gan Eden. That's all. Everything is just in between. So we're looking for Gan Eden. Where's the Gan Eden? We had a shtickle Gan Eden, Kegan Hashem Beretz Teretz Mitzrayim. We had a shtickle Gan Eden in this world, but where's the one that you promised us? So give us back our money. We want our money back. Okay?
Wow.
It's a whole different shot.
Yeah.
So the shot is that Klal Yisrael, this was such a good title that the Mitzrayim had. Okay? So comes Davia ben Pasisa, and he tells them, look, anyways, it's not your money. Anyways, we worked. Anyways, it belongs to us. Anyways, we're making a Beis HaMikdash. The pshat is this, that the soif is Vachiach ad Tchila. Ubezeh Asayim. That there's a debt. There's a debt here to Mitzrayim. There's a debt here to Canaan. There's a debt because what Mitzrayim gave us, the superpower of the world, was so that we can produce and we can deliver with it. Our job then, B'nai B'chai Yisrael, is to create the Shechina. Our job is to make a dira, L'HaKadosh Baruch Hu, B'taf Torah. We thought you did it in the Bayis Rishon, we left you alone. There was a golus. Bayis Sheni, let's see what happens.
Bayis Shlishi.
Okay. Maisa, Bayis Sheni, was Matzliach, wasn't Matzliach. I want to tell you one thing. I'm ending at 1, 2 minutes to 1. The Goin in Kol Eliyahu, I was so taken with it, I got it down. The Vilna Gaon as follows. Vayashilum. Pirish Rashi, says the Goin Kol Eliyahu. Vayashilum, and they lent us the money, says Rashi, Kidvar Moshe. Like Moshe said. Break the Goin, Yesh L'Daktek, like before Yisrael, Yisrael also Kidvar Moshe, V'yishalu V'yitrayim Play Kesef V'Klizav, Ba'chidush Lo Rashi Bazeh, Kidvar Moshe. What's the Chiddush of Rashi when he says Kidvar Moshe? Everybody understood that this whole thing was Kidvar Moshe. What's the Chiddush of Rashi? Says the Goin, in his way, he says, okay, first of all, let's understand, the Gemara says above Akaba, Daf Lav Vav, Shor Shel Yisrael, Shenogach Shor Shel Mitzri, Potter. Why? You see, Nogach Shor Isha Shor Reiayhu V'loi Shor Shel Mitzri. So it says the Goy that they, the Mitzrayim, are obviously not called Reiayhu. So why does it say in the Torah, Vayishalu Ishas Reiayhu V'isha Me'es Rusa? What was the Ishmael? Eyes of the Kasha of the Goy. What's why Yishalu Ishmael? All of a sudden, like, we're chubby, we're sitting in the same Kretschmer with the Egyptians over here, Ishmael Reiayhu, Ishmael Rusa, like we're making, what do you call it? You make those parties you make for kalas. Everybody, let's give the Jews this, let's give the Jews that. Like a shower, right? The shower gives them the gifts. They have to taste it. They have to taste it, says the guy. Says the guy, al karchach tzarech leibar. Al karchach tzarech leibar delay haya b'cholas of lasis kizais. They could never have gotten anybody from the goyim. If lo yasher b'koydim yachufu es yitzram lasay chesed ishim rei'ehu v'azai olam chesed yiboleh. Has the guy that the Ishas Reiayhu is like this. This is what Moshe Rabbeinu told him to do. You want to be Batzliach? First of all, Ishas Reiayhu means Jews and their fellow Jews. Go lend each other things. What do you have, a little bit of border? Give it to them. You have a little bit of lettuce? Give it to them. You have some matzah? Share it. Make a chabura for Karban Pesach. Make a chabura. Ishas Reiayhu is not going on the goyim. Ishas Reiayhu is going on each other. Now that we each gave each other Ishas Reiayhu, so now it's possible. Wow, what a people. They're giving each other, doing each other chesed in a moment of desperation. They're doing each other chesed. What happens when we do each other chesed? What happens when we become an Ishas Reiayhu? Yetziat Mitzrayim. Oh, what a beautiful guy. What does it mean for us? It's such an unbelievable thing. I think he holds of what I'm saying. That what we're talking about over here is nothing less than the Geula HaSida. Our achrayus is to create the Geula HaSida. And we have to take Vayashilu of everything that we allegedly and actually took from the Goyim, from Mitzrayim. We have to use it for Kli Kesef and Kli Zav. Klal Yisrael brought it to the Mishkan, and we have to continue to bring it to the Mishkan. But you have to understand something. In order to bring the Geula HaSida, Vayitenes Ched, the key word here is Ched. The Nevi'im speak about the fact there's going to be a Ched Ha'am in the time before Meshiach comes. And everybody who wants to participate is going to come to Klal Yisrael and say, take, nah, right? Take. Why? Because we want to be part of it. Yeah. Like the Ramchal says, if you're not part of it, you're extinct, you're gone. The Goyim understand this. They want to be part of it. What's the lashon over there? 60,000 for every Jew. It's all fine. We're willing to do everything for you. We're by Natzlos Mitzrayim, but you have to. When is this going to come? First of all, you have to have an Ishas Reiayhu, says the guy. First of all, I got to get rid of the Sinas Chinam. If you get rid of the Sinas Chinam, so then you have a chance that we're going to come. There's no Mashiach. There's Chorban when there's Sinas Chinam. There's Chorban bias. There's no binyan bias. So the first thing is you got to build the bias. That's only going to come when you have an Ish Reiayhu. Once you have an Ishas Reiayhu, we're there with you. We're there with you. We'll give you even more. We'll give you what we have throughout the whole Golos, and we should be Zochel L'Kaf B'Her of Yomei.
Beautiful. So we owe them money?